Well, hello. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? I'm great. It's the last day of school, and the kids are out of school now, so if you hear a bunch of kids spilling in, we've already had kind of a get-together, but they're headed back this way in a few minutes. So if they start spilling in and you hear a bunch of noise, if they get here before we're done with this, just realize that that's the sound of the future, right? I'm not going to put a damper on that because my kids, your grandkids, my grandkids, well, they're what we're working for. That's the future of America. And we want to tamp down some other things, not their joy, right? I have a couple of announcements. By the way, welcome to all of the new people, both on YouTube and on Patreon. We continue to grow. That's excellent. We are such a new and such a small channel that every day I look on and I see that more people have joined and more people are participating in the comments, and I love that, and that's great. More people are joining over on Patreon, and that's great. Thank you for your support. You help us do what we do here. So a couple of announcements before we get into this. First off, some people said, I'll save the big one for the second one, but some people have said that they've had a hard time finding how to order my books off of Amazon. And so I'm going to put, I've seen how other YouTube creators sometimes put a comment and pin it at the top so that when people come to it, they make sure to see that. I've always put the information about how you can get my books from Amazon or from me directly in kind of the information box, but I don't think a lot of people go to that one, or maybe a lot of people don't know that it's there. I'm not sure. But so I'm going to put down, and I'll pin the comment exactly how to get my books. It'll have the links you can go to on Amazon. If you want to try to do it yourself, just go to Amazon and put in the Stonemont series by Stephen C. Smith, and it'll take you to all of my books. But if you just want to go down there and click that that link, that'll be easier for you. So that will be there, and also an address if you'd like to get autographed copies from me personally. Just a warning on that one, it takes longer if you want it from me personally, because I don't specialize in shipping like Amazon does. They'll get it out to you pretty quick. It usually takes me a little while because I've got to, go up and stop by the post office about once a week and pick up the orders and come back and, sign them and then take them back up to the post office. Then sometimes I'll run out, and you know how it is. So I love to do it. Not that I don't want to do it. I love to do it, happy to do it, sign whatever you'd like me to, as long as it's nice, And but it's your choice, and in either regard, thank you for patronizing and becoming a stone modder. I think for those of you who haven't read the books, I think you'll like them because they talk about the things that we believe in. The second thing, I'm sorry, I'm looking over here getting ready for what I'm going to read. The second thing, I am considering, as I have mentioned to you before, renaming the channel, because reversion just doesn't do it justice what I think needs to be done. When I first started, I thought, well, we need to take things back to the way things were. And as I made a video on integrative preparedness last night, I stated that I think things have finally gotten to the point, things are coming so fast and so hard and so many things, that I'm not at all sure that we're going to be able to turn this thing around at all. As a matter of fact, I'm leaning towards we can't, okay? But that doesn't mean that we give up. That just means that instead of turning it around, we have to rebuild from what's happened. And how we do that is going to be very interesting. But I'm not giving up, and I know you're not giving up, and I am determined that to the extent that it's within my ability, my kids and grandkids are going to grow up in a kind of America that resembles more the one I did than the one is now. And that's going to take something from all of us. It's a matter of fighting, and we don't know how far down in the ditch this thing is going to go before we're going to, be able to bring it around. But anyway, that's kind of a long explanation of my thought process. I am considering renaming this channel American Phoenix. And you all know what that reference is to. It's the mythological bird that regenerates itself from the ruins of its predecessor. There's a couple of different stories about it. In one, and this comes from ancient mythology, all different cultures had a kind of an iteration of this. In one, that the bird is burned to ashes, and from the ashes, it is resurrected, and we certainly see where that would apply. Another one, interestingly, and one that I think is less known by people, is that the bird dies and simply decays, and then from that, it's rebirth. And I think we can also make a case for that, can't we? Anyway, what I'm interested in right now is your all's opinion on it. I kind of want to get your input. Take a vote. I want to hear what you have to say about it. Do you like the change? Is it one that in your mind describes, what I'm trying to say and what you're thinking? Let me know about that, please. And also, I will ask that, share it with others. Make sure that in case when I do this, do make sure that you are subscribed. Because if all of a sudden one day it comes up with a slightly different name, I don't want you to be lost, right? And you should be. I mean, it's a simple matter to change the name of a channel. I think you can only do it it's limited to how often you can do it, and that's probably just to keep down the scammers. But that's not what we're about here. So let me know what you think about that, and I'll look forward to it. Okay, today. We have things globally, and we have things closer to home that are worthy of our attention. Davos. We're going to start off with the Bond villain Klaus Schwab. So he lauds Davos, the elites. He says, the future is built by us. You may have heard him say this. Well, he's always said something kind of like that. But, he comes out. These are the places where these elites get together and they think that they can talk, to each other. And it doesn't matter. Probably most of us plebes will never hear about what they say. And even if we do, it doesn't matter to them because they are so insulated and isolated. And they think that they're calling the shots. Very interesting what can happen to someone who is insulated and isolated and thinks they're calling the shots when all of a sudden the other people start paying attention and decide, I don't like those shots you're calling. Okay, I'm just going to read a couple of things, and as always, I'll put the links to the articles from which I read over on the Patreon channel. And again, if you don't know where that is, if you want to join us on the Patreon, I always put the link down there too. It's patreon.com/American Reversion. So they'll be over there. So the body of the article, and this is from Breitbart. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, on Monday greeted members of the global elites gathered in Davos, Switzerland, with the salute, "The future is built by us, by a powerful community, as you here in this room." Okay. History at a turning point. Government and business strategies is the theme for the 2022 edition of the 51-year-old NGO, that's non-government organization, lobbying organization founded by the German engineer and economist. On the evidence delivered on day one at the famous Swiss ski resort, Schwab very much sees his organization at the forefront of shaping the world of tomorrow. Of course, that's why he put her together. Unfortunately, outsiders have not been consulted or invited to join the 2,500 people flown in from all around the world to be present. Schwab was quick to praise those gathered before him in his welcoming address. He says, "The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community, as you see here in this room. We have the means to improve the state of the world, but two conditions are necessary." His improvement of the world, I'm sure, would not necessarily be our view. He continues, "The first one is that we act all as stakeholders of larger communities." The first time that I heard the term stakeholder, it was in a corporate setting. I didn't like it. I said something about that is not right. There was a time some years ago when all these new terms were being introduced into the meetings that were held, by corporates. And stakeholder was one of them. It just immediately didn't like it. It told me something. So I'll back up and I'll start that since I interrupted myself. I interrupted Klaus. The first one is that we act all as stakeholders of larger communities, that we serve not only self-interest, but we serve the community. That's what we call stakeholder responsibility. And second, that we collaborate. So, we serve not only self-interest, but we serve the community. Do you think that's what he's doing? He wants us to serve the community for his self-interest. Schwab added climate change and preserving nature is something to urgently address, while concerns about high inflation will affect how to look at the future of the global economy. He pointed to fears of people plunged into poverty and dying of hunger. Here's something to hear. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky also delivered an address Monday. He compared his country to Israel in conversation with Schwab during an appearance via video link. Okay, I'll stop there, and I'll post that article so you all can watch the videos embedded in it. One interesting thing for those people not quite sure how to feel about the Russia-Ukraine situation, who spoke at Davos and who didn't? Okay, Zelensky spoke at Davos. Okay, let's move on here to the next. And like I say, I'll put that up. I'll put the link of it over on the Patreon channel. Here we have globalist Alibaba president tells the WEF at Davos, the World Economic Forum, still there with those people that know better than we. He tells the Davos audience of upcoming tracker to monitor what you buy, what you eat, and how you travel. Excuse me, I've got a bug in my throat. So this is by J.D. Rucker. Great thing. Many of you are familiar with J.D. The reason the globalist elites love climate change hysteria is because it gives them a license to bring forth the most intrusive new technologies, all in the name of saving the planet. Isn't that the truth? For 5 decades, they've told us we're just 10 years away from extinction. And for some reason, many still believe them. Do you all remember that? When I was in high school, they told us we were all going to die of the next ice age. And then they told us that the deforestation of the Amazon, which was the lung of the world, was going to cause us all to run out of oxygen within 5 years. And then, what's that idiot's name that was in Cheers? Ted Danson said, we're only 10 or 15 years away from extinction. And, he was just one of many of those great thinkers of Hollywood people who have assured us that we're only a few years away. And, of course, we have just as ignorant of people in Congress. They've been promising, death and destruction for a long time. And so when the Ice Age didn't come, then it was global warming. You all know all this, okay? But a lot of people don't, and that's what we forget. A lot of people don't realize how these people have gone with a pendulum back and forth, always being wrong, but always so sure of their next opinion being true, and they get a new generation, a new group of people to jump on board believing them. That's the danger. The danger is not necessarily these idiots, but the vast number of idiots who believe them. They play on this ignorance to get people to willingly forego freedom, privacy, and common sense for the sake of perceived security. That's right. This is why Alibaba Group President J. Michael Evans is able to boast about new tracking technology openly at the World Economic Forum's Davos Summit. The globalist elites no longer concern themselves with hiding in the shadows. They announce their intentions to the public and dare us to tell them they're wrong. That's right. So they're coming up with an individual carbon footprint tracker. where you individual, where you go, how you go there, what you eat, what you consume online, okay? And out of all of this, they are going to be putting together an individual carbon footprint tracker. Toward what end? They say it's to help us manage it. We know better than that. It's the danger there is obvious. I'll put the link up over on Patreon. Now let's come closer to home and realize, and I have a story here that shows us why we have hope. Because in the past, things have not been as unified against us as far as global threat and local threat, okay, within our own country. Never before has our own government so closely aligned itself, and corporations, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that these corporations are multinational. But never before has it been that our government and our so-called, industry has been so closely aligned with external foreign powers, both government and non-governmental, that want to destroy us. In order to fight back against that, we can't fight that big monster. We can't fight the war. We have to fight battles, and then we have to win those battles. And we have to build on each of those battles. And here's a battle that's being won in many locations. This also from Breitbart says, Texas leaves National School Boards Association after White House collusion is revealed. See who this is by? This is by Brecken Thies. Okay, the subhead is the Texas affiliate of the National School Boards Association cut ties with the national organization Monday after an investigation showed the group colluded with the Biden administration to investigate concerned parents as domestic terrorists. Now that's great. That's good for Texas. Here's the more important sentence. The Texas Association of School Boards is the 23rd state board association to sever its affiliation with the NSBA after it sent a letter to Biden, blah, blah, blah. So 23 state boards of education have now separated themselves, have severed their affiliations with the National School Board Association. So what does that tell? Nobody's really made a big deal about this, right? No, because they're not going to report it. But these are the kind of things that are going on behind the scenes. We are seeing a lot of victories, a lot of local victories. We're not seeing them yet on the national stage, but we're seeing a division in this country that I think is important. It's not, unification has killed us. Division is what's necessary to bring something good out of this mess. Okay, they have a map here. Oh, this is going to test my high school geography. They have a map here. I'll list them to you all before we bring this to a conclusion. Which states have cut ties with the National School Board? Some of them are going to surprise you. So they don't have these. They don't have the names. They just have the map by color. So let's see if I can remember what all these are. Okay, the ones who have already cut ties with it are Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. One of the little states up there that's right next to another one that I never remember which is which, New Hampshire or Vermont. One of them. Probably Vermont, I would think, right? Coming down the eastern seaboard and the deep south, that I already said Pennsylvania and Ohio, but coming down there we have Virginia, not West Virginia so far, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I know I did those opposites. Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, surprisingly, Illinois, did I already say I might have? Out west, Montana, Idaho. What did I do there? I punched it in. Let me see. Yeah. Montana, Idaho, Arizona, and surprise is surprise, California. Okay. That's the news that's enough to concern ourselves with today. We know what they're after. We know their plans. The question is how we're going to respond to it. My suggestion is we always have to fight locally. We have to fight the small battles because we don't have a unified front to fight against their unified front, and they have a massive unified front. Essentially, we're fighting a guerrilla action and trying to get more people. You know, one of the basics of guerrilla action is to get the people, the population on your side, and to work in such a way to work, underground. It might also be a good name for the channel. I don't know, American Underground. Let me know what you think. Working quietly, not fighting the big battles, but winning the small ones until you get more and more and more people, until you get enough people that are finally convinced to turn away from the oppressor and support those fighting against the oppression. Does that make sense? Okay, let me know what you think. Please share this with everybody that you would like to, that you think would be receptive to it. I appreciate that. I think it helps build a channel, and we are striving to do that. Let me know what you think about the name change. Give me your opinions on these other things that we talked about. And join us for those of you who have joined us on Patreon, thank you again so much. If you'd like to come over and support us, we thank you. And remember, I will remember to put a comment down here with the easy way you can order my books if you would like to do that. So you all have a good day. Remember that America needs a something. Whatever that something is, it needs all of us to be a part of it, and I look forward to seeing what we're going to decide to name it. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.